Hey guys, it's Dave, and today we are going to tackle social media. So, where are we going today? All right, let me give you a little bit of a roadmap so you can know what to expect. I'm going to start by teaching you a very successful strategy on Instagram, okay? So, what I want you to do, and if you haven't done it already, hit pause now, and I'll probably ask you to do that a couple of times today. First of all, get an Instagram. Connect your Instagram to your Twitter and your Facebook. If you don't have a Twitter, get one. If you probably have a Facebook though, at least connect your Instagram to your Facebook, okay? Because what I'm gonna show you how to do is to share photos from Instagram to Facebook and Twitter, and then use hashtags that you're gonna create as a way to find people who have common interests with you. We're always gonna go back to that customer avatar, right, that we created last week where, you know, we're finding who our ideal customer is and just asking yourself, who would I connect with? That's who you should be looking for. So in the videos, I'm going to give you some examples around surfing because I'm a surfer and that's what I do. And so those are the people that I'm looking to connect with. And I'm going to kind of show you how to do that and give you a strategy for how to use Instagram. Then I'm going to transition into Google+. And I say it in the video, but I want to just reiterate it. If you're getting a little overwhelmed with the Instagram training, okay, pause before you go to the Google+ stuff. Understand how to do all the Instagram stuff first. It's not super complicated. You're basically posting a picture, adding some hashtags, and then following those hashtags back and finding other people who are using the same hashtags. Pretty simple, okay? Then we're gonna go to Google+. We're gonna look at hashtags again and how they work on Google+. Google+ is not, I would think, you know, the huge social network. It may be someday. It's a place I'm active, and it's a place I'm active because I'm able to share content from Google+ back to Facebook and Twitter, and unfortunately not Instagram, but LinkedIn. And again, I do the same thing. I use hashtags. I follow the people who are following those hashtags. And it just gives me another place to look. And I have some third-party software that I'm going to recommend to you that you can pay a fee, and it'll share from Google across these other social networks. By doing that, you cover a really wide base, right? And you're always posting stuff on Facebook, right? So we're always doing something on Facebook, but we're doing it from these other places. And by doing it that way, you're able to go more places at once, and it gives you a little bit more, I guess, broad coverage is what I would say. I'm also going to show you something really cool on Google+, which if you're sharing content like quotes, is the absolute best place to get content. Viral content, and you can find it very easily, and I will show you where to do that. So that's in the training today as well. Then you're also going to learn a little bit more. We're going to zero in the last section on Facebook. And I'm going to show you how to get your prospects all into a nice, neat little list. It's almost like a news feed for your prospects. So you can just create a list, add people to that list. And so when I have somebody that I think would be a great coach, maybe they're in one of my challenge groups, maybe there's somebody that I meet out in public, right? But we connect on Facebook. I add them to this particular list of people, and then I just check in with that list every day, right? I'm going back and I'm just connecting with them. It's not always a thing of right away, oh, you're added to the prospect list. That's the first thing. The next thing I'm going to say to you is become a coach. No, that's not how it works, right? You have to give people a little bit of space, and you got to make sure you have their trust before you're going to ask them to be your business partner. I mean, think about that. If you were opening a business, would you just walk down the street and go, hey, who's got money today to invest in my business? Or would you look really carefully and say, boy, I'm going to go into business with somebody I trust, somebody I like, somebody that has some skills? That's what people are asking themselves. That's the question, okay? So having this list allows you to really connect with people. Okay, last piece of advice as you go through the training. Try to follow me as I'm doing it. So if that means you need to pause this video and go do something, okay? So I'm gonna tell you, for example, hey, go post a picture on Instagram and use some hashtags, right? If you need to go do that in order to have a picture to work with and to be able to implement this strategy and on Facebook and everything, and all of a sudden that leads you to connecting with somebody is really good, go ahead and focus on that. This is training, that's real world. I'd much rather have you learning in the real world. So do it as I'm doing it, and that will help you remember how to do it as well. And then maybe bookmark this video. I think this is going to be something that you're going to come back to. There's some content in here, and I'll admit it can be a little overwhelming. So take your time with it, have fun with it. We'll hope you enjoy our social media training and learn a lot about what I do as a coach. All right, guys, let's do it. All right, guys, welcome to our training today about social media. I want to show you some of the things I do. As I referenced in the opening videos, not everything I do. I also talked about this being a two-part video. I went back and watched it. I'm just refilming it, so disregard all that stuff about part one, part two. It's just part one. And here's what I'm going to talk about today. So give you a little bit of an overview. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Instagram. I'm also going to talk about Twitter. I'm also going to talk about Facebook. This is my, whoops. Sorry, let me get to my regular Facebook profile. And finally, I'm going to talk about Google+. Okay? So that's going to be kind of where we're going to go. What I'm going to show you how to do is how to share content that goes to multiple places. So what I'm going to show you how to do is I'm going to show you how to share a picture on Instagram that goes to Twitter and Facebook, and how to share a picture on Google+ that goes to Facebook, Twitter, doesn't go to Instagram, unfortunately, but also goes to LinkedIn, which is kind of nice if you're a LinkedIn user, and it just kind of depends on where you're building your social media networks. So let's start with Instagram because I think it's the place that you should be focusing on if you're not. And then I'm also going to talk to you today about Facebook and how to organize your prospects once you're connected with people, how to get them organized in a real easy manner where you can keep track of them. So let's get going. Okay, first thing, I'm using Instagram on my desktop. It's really not, it's clunky on the desktop, okay? It's much more robust when you're using it on your phone. In particular, the main thing you can't do is click on hashtags. Okay, so here's what I do. I just kind of share my life. You can see these are the last pictures that I've taken this week. It's some books that I'm reading. I had this funny story about where I accidentally put eardrops in my eye because I thought they were eye drops and I wasn't paying attention, and that hurts really bad. There was a Formula 1 race. Here's me gardening. These are garden things. It's food I'm eating. It's my workouts. It's all this different kind of stuff that just happens in my life. And here's what I do. It's really, really simple. I share a picture. I put hashtags on it that make sense for this particular picture and also that I found are being used by people that I have stuff in common with, and then I post the picture on Instagram. Then after I post it, I come back on my phone, okay? On my phone, again, you can't do this on your desktop, but on your phone. If I was on my phone and I clicked on this hashtag, it would show me a list of all the people who just used that hashtag. And actually, all the people who use that hashtag, I think, for quite a while, okay? So what I do is I go and I follow and I find those people and then I connect with them. The first thing I do is I look at their profile and I determine whether I think they're going to follow me back or not. I do that by basically if they have if they have a lot more followers than people they are following, that indicates to me they don't follow you back, right? Because a lot of people are following them and they're not following those people back. Those aren't, I wouldn't follow that people. I might go like their pictures or something, but I wouldn't follow them. If I have somebody who's about even, or maybe they've got more people who they are following than are following them, that indicates to me they're going to follow me back, and that's what I want. I need that two-way conversation. The same rule applies with Twitter, okay? And I'll show you how to do Twitter in a second. It's the same basic strategy, right? I'm going to share a picture. In this case, I've got it connected to my Instagram, so it's actually the exact same post. I miss winter swells. And if you click on it, it'll take you right back to Instagram. You can see it's the same picture. It's just shared across to Instagram. And so Twitter's desktop is much more functional. So I can actually click on this, SUP surfing, and I can find, some pictures. I can find people, who are into stand-up paddle surfing is what that stands for. And that's what I do. I surf on a stand-up paddleboard. So like this Ryan Maloney guy, let's see what his story is. See, he's following 32 people. He's got 78 followers. Yeah, he'll probably follow me back. This is type 1 diabetes. Actually, I know this kid. He's like a 15-year-old kid. I'll follow him. And he's a really good surfer. Maybe he's 16. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can see what I'm doing. I'm looking for people who have like interests. I can do the exact same thing on Facebook too because my Instagram is connected to my Facebook. And let's just go look at the same thing. When I click on this hashtag, what's interesting is when I went through on Instagram and followed this picture back using this SUP surfing hashtag, right? The first thing I found was this exact picture because she's sharing it from Instagram, okay? This is coming via Instagram. So I found her picture, I followed her, I liked her. You know, she's in Australia, but she follows back, so that's cool, and she's got a lot of cool pictures of surfing, and she's connected to a lot of people who surf, right? So I'll just like that picture here as well. This guy, this Oli Doka, you know, okay, I don't know a whole lot about him. You know, I followed him on Instagram. I'll like his picture here. I also noticed that when I went here, it's the same guy. So why not follow him here too? So now, you know, if I was doing this and I was really in sort of, you know, full-blown connecting, recruiting mode, I would take more time with this. This is kind of interesting. I found this earlier as well. These guys I've really been connecting with lately on Instagram. I didn't know they had a Facebook page until I found it searching back this hashtag. So now we're connected in 2 different places. Okay, again, I would take a lot more time with, not a lot more time, but I would take more time, be a little bit more analytical with this stuff, look at these profiles a little bit more, but that's really what I'm doing. You know, here's a really good example of a photo that, you know, got 20 likes, but I got a bunch of people following me after I took it. And I realized it's because I used the hashtag Cervelo. And Cervelo is the manufacturer of this bike, and the Cervelo tribe, if you will, is pretty tightly knit. We tend to really dig each other's bikes. And I know, for me, I would always follow somebody back who followed me because I used the Cervelo tag. So I used it, and then I followed it back, and I ended up connecting with a bunch of cyclists, which is one of the things that I'm really into. And I think, you know, they're cool people. They're also really fitness-minded people, right? Like, you know, I'm looking for people who are going to be customers and coaches here. So, you know, I keep in mind that I want to be, you know, following those types of people, all right? And cyclists are definitely those types of people. So this was a really productive, I mean, I only got 17 or I guess 20 likes on it, but I got a bunch of people following me back, which is really, really more important to me than them liking my photo. So anyway, that gives you kind of an idea about Instagram. Instagram is cool. You know, learn to use the app on the phone. If you're wondering how to connect Twitter and Facebook, the best thing is probably just to go Google that. Go to YouTube and search how to connect my Instagram to my other social networks. And it'll walk you through it and how to do it. It's really pretty simple, but you have to do it with your phone. I don't think you can do it from here. I don't think you can do it from here. It's just their desktop app. I never use this. I'm only using this because I'm filming this video for you guys, and I can't go back and forth between my phone and my computer. So that's Instagram. Twitter, again, is a similar philosophy. I'm using these hashtags. I'm trying to connect with people who want to connect with the things that I am interested in. Okay, so we're going back to really this, which hopefully you remember and hopefully did this exercise. This is the ideal customer avatar that we gave you guys to go do just a few days ago, and where you describe your ideal person, right? And so what I want you to really be thinking about is, who are you? Who are you? That was the question that was posed to you. Form yourself. What are you interested in? Where do you work? You know, what's your family situation like? Are you somebody who's a really spiritual person? If so, those are going to be the type of people that you want to connect with. Think about who you want to be your customer and who you want to be in business with you. Figure out what hashtags they use. Use those hashtags on Instagram. Set your Instagram up to share across to Twitter and your Facebook profile, and then just track these, hashtags back, right? And sometimes I'll even go through and I'll look up like paddleboarding. I didn't use paddleboarding. I might go and see, are a lot of people using that? Well, it looks like they are. Maybe I need to rethink my hashtag strategy because a lot of people are using that paddleboarding hashtag. So you learn things like that. I suggest you keep a note of all that stuff as well. I think that's always really helpful. Take notes, and I like to have usually a Google Doc open that I would put those things in so that I can just copy and paste them, or wherever I'm at. So so that's kind of the strategy using Instagram in conjunction with Twitter and Facebook. Hopefully you got that. I'm going to transition now to Google+. So if you're working on this right now and you're doing what I suggested you do, which is sort of follow the bouncing ball, you might want to pause this video right now and just give yourself a minute to absorb the information that I just gave you. Practice it. Just post a picture. It's really easy. You post a picture of yourself doing something that has something to do with these hashtags. and then track them back and start following and liking pictures, and people will connect with you, okay? And then from there, you know, you take the relationship further, right? If they're engaging with you, I like to engage with people. You know, had a little bit of engagement on this particular picture, right? Somebody commented, so what did I do? I commented back, you know, right away, because I want to make sure that I'm doing that and that I'm here on the page and being proactive, okay? So that's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Now, let's talk about approaching it from a different direction, which is Google+, and Facebook, Twitter, and also LinkedIn, okay? Maybe I can get into my LinkedIn while we're here. All right. I'm not sure I'm going to need that, but I'll have it open in case I do. So this is Google+, and Google+ is like Twitter with visual. It's kind of like more like it's a really a cross between Instagram and Facebook, you know. And there's a lot of goofy like stuff like that. There's a lot of wacky nonsense on Google+, and you know, Google+ is a growing social network. I wouldn't tell you to spend a whole lot of time building up your Google+ profile. You can find interesting people here. You can also search hashtags. So I could go and search that same hashtag. I'd be interested to see if I find, again, paddleboarding. See, I'm missing out on the paddleboarding hashtag. You see that? I searched for this one. These are the other ones that came up. I used both of those, but not this one. So, you know, there's some manufacturers here, and there's not a whole lot going on with this particular SUP surfing, but let's try paddleboarding. See, again, this is somebody, I found her on Instagram, this exact photo, and connected with her on Instagram about stand-up paddle, because she's here doing some pretty kick-ass yoga, which means what? A, she's into getting out on a paddleboard, which I'm into, and B, she's into yoga and fitness. Well, hello, you know, that's somebody I want to know, right? And hopefully we'll be able to connect with. So I found this is the paddleboard is the best hashtag I can use for this. Okay, I'm just seeing that. You can see the amount of content is here, the number of people, and the opportunity to connect with these people just by paying attention to what the hashtags were that people were using. Look how many more came up. When I used SUP surfing, only 3 of these guys came up, so they're not really connecting these. But paddleboarding, look at the difference. I mean, it's huge, you know? Sorry, my phone's ringing there. So, that's a little lesson on searching hashtags. What else can you do with Google+? You can focus right here on this Explore button. So when you click on Explore, it gives you some cool information. One of the things it does is tell you what hashtags are trending on Google+ right now, which is great information to know. You can also get that information over here on, Twitter. If you go to the home page on Twitter, it'll tell you what's trending, right? So earlier when I filmed the first version of this video, which just kind of didn't work because it was a little too jumpy and I was talking really fast, I found this E32 2014 hashtag, and I noticed it's right here as well. But I had no idea what it was. I thought it maybe would be something related to the World Cup, because the World Cup starts on Thursday. If you're watching this video, we're filming it in June. What I realized was that it's some sort of a video game thing. I don't know what it is, some kind of a video game deal. I know nothing about video games. I don't have any interest in video games. That's not my element, so I'm out of that hashtag, right? I'm not going to spend any time there, because those are not my people. However, I am a huge World Cup fan. The World Cup is trending on Google+. It's also trending here on Twitter. A little bit different hashtag, but it's trending in both places, right? So what I can do is I can come in here and, I don't know, let's just find some cool content. BBC. This is a really good video, actually, but I already shared it. I'll just find something real quick. Real quick, I swear. Now, I'm looking for something that's kind of viral, right? It's got a lot of +1s and likes. Maybe I'll share this one again. Where's that video? Yeah, I don't know. For a hashtag that's trending like this, I would expect to see a lot more +1s and shares, and I'm not really seeing that. So that's not necessarily something that I'm going to get real excited about. Although, Yeah, that one's kind of okay. But anyway, I'm not going to deal with that right now. Let's go back to explore. And so I can do that though, right? You know, you can get into these hashtags and you can connect with people based on the hashtags. I can tell you right now that if paddleboarding was trending on Google Plus right now, I would be all over that. I would get really into a discussion about paddleboarding because it's hot right now. It's not. You know, World Cup is really the only one of these, maybe Father's Day, but, you know, World Cup's the only one of these that really, you know, I'm interested in. So here's what I want to show you, is what's hot. This is where you go to find content to share. And it's content that has at least gotten some sort of response from people. So you can see just this, I always look for quotes here. This is where I go to get all my quotes. If you ever see me sharing quotes, this is where they come from. And, you know, this is a pretty good quote, but, you know, 213 people, now 214 with me, plus one at 57 shares. That's not bad, but earlier, this is what I do in the morning. I come and I find a quote, 351.78, not bad, not bad, but I'm looking for something with some better numbers than that. And it must have gone off the what's hot list, because I found a quote earlier. It must have just gotten bumped down too far. But I found a quote earlier that had about 2,700 plus ones, or what we would think of as likes. This was 2,700, and it was like 400 shares. That's going to be a way better quote, right? That's the one I'm looking for. I'm trying to hit that. I also discovered through finding these quotes that this like quotes empire place, there's 3 or 4 different people who generate quotes that regularly appear here. Here's the quote I found earlier. 2,781 people plus one this, and 729 have shared it. So naturally, I'm going to share that. For some reason, this is resonating with people. Something about this is viral, okay? It's not a particularly compelling image. It's a cool quote. I love the quote. But, you know, something about it is really resonating with people. So share that content, and people will then go on and share it from your page. Okay, so again, where do we find it? To explore. Oops, move around there. Sometimes this anime stuff is so good, goofy. Come on. We went to explore, and then we bypassed trending hashtags. We went straight to what's hot, and that's where I found that picture earlier. I ended up having to go back to Quotes Empire to get it, but that's where I found it. I found it in here in the morning, and that's one of the things that I do pretty much every day, is making sure I'm sharing viral content. Now, how do I share it? Okay, so earlier I showed you how to go from Instagram to Twitter and Facebook. Now I'm going to show you how to go from Google Plus. So, you know, you can just hit this share button, right, and add a comment in there, and then it'll share this. I'm not going to do it right now. It'll share this out to your Google Plus followers. However, if you are clever and willing to pay $40 a year, I think it's $40 a year, it might be $50, you can use a service called friendsplus.me. So there's the URL, friendsplus.me, log in, and it will take content from either my personal Google profile page or my business Google page, whichever one I post to, and it shares them to 2 different Twitter accounts. It'll share them to either my Facebook profile or my Facebook page, and it will share it to my LinkedIn. For $40 or $50 a year, that is something I'm willing to pay for. That's a really, really valuable service. So let's look what happens when that happens, right? Earlier, I shared a picture across to Twitter. And here it is. Awesome. Can't wait for the World Cup on Thursday. And it takes me where? I'm going to click on it. It takes me to my Google Plus profile. So I'm building my Google Plus profile this way too. Much like the earlier post from Instagram will take you back to Instagram, this takes you back here. Now, I made one crucial mistake in this post, so learn from my mistakes. There's no hashtag. I should have looked at the trending hashtags, seen that the trending hashtag was just World Cup. It's right here, World Cup. And I should have put that on the tail end of this. If I had done that, I'm sure it would have gotten more reach. More people would have seen it, because a lot of people are clicking right here and they want to know all about the World Cup. And that might have gotten me some more followers on Google Plus. okay? So hopefully you can kind of see how these hashtags all blend together. So let's review with what we've learned today, and then I'm going to shut up because this video is getting really long. Let's see just how long. 20 minutes at this point. Okay, so share your life. What are you into? Understand your customer avatar, who they are and what their interests are, and then learn about what their hashtags are. Okay, so today I learned that I haven't been using the hashtag paddleboard, and that is like the most popular hashtag for stand-up paddlers and stand-up paddle surfers. I'm missing out. That's dumb, right? So I'm not gonna make that mistake again. And this should illustrate how, that and the World Cup hashtag mistake should illustrate to you that I'm not perfect at this. I learn this stuff all the time, okay? But what I'm telling you to do is share your life, share it from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook, follow the hashtags back and connect with people, and you're connecting with people who have common interests in that you do, okay? Then go to Google Plus to find viral content under Explore, and do it quickly, computer, and What's Hot. Share that content, again, to Facebook, Twitter. If you have a LinkedIn, send it over to a LinkedIn. Why not? So one more person looking at your stuff. You can see I've got, it's been a while since anybody's messaged me on here. But I do get messages via LinkedIn, and I'm not on LinkedIn very often. It's just a passive thing for me where I'm sharing content there on a daily basis that has to do with things that I'm interested in. And I'm just doing it because I'm finding it on Google Plus and sharing it out. And so what it allows me to do, you can see there's basically 5 social networks right here that I have, connected. And, there are other things that I post only on Facebook, but I also have my Facebook, I have a Facebook business page or a like page, whatever you want to call it. And, you can see here's this quote from earlier that came from, Google Plus, right? I shared it back over to here. How'd it do? Well, 5,100 people, here's the metrics. 225 likes, 85 shares. That's pretty good numbers, That's really pretty good numbers. I'm pretty happy with that. No spam reports or anything like that, right? So I picked a good piece of content, I picked a good piece of content there. And I did it not because I think this is the most fantastic quote, although I think it's great. I did it because Google Plus told me that it was really viral content, because when I was over at that Quotes Empire, I just looked at how many +1s and how many shares it had. And if it's viral content, boom, I'm sharing it. And that's how you get people to click on your stuff and click likes. Now, why is that important? Let me just take a second. Why is that important? The way Facebook works, when people like, comment, and share your content, they show people more of your content. So you need to create compelling content on a consistent basis that gets people to click like, gets people to comment, or has them sharing. And if you can do that, you can really make a lot of hay with Facebook, and you can have a really broad reach, and you pop up in the news feed all the time. Because when that many people share your stuff and comment on it, Facebook says, okay, something is valuable about that. We're going to show it to more people. And that's how you get 238 new page likes in a single week, because they're showing it to more people and more people are clicking on it. So it's really pretty simple. All right, guys. So again, I would encourage you to, kind of segment this training. Start with Instagram, focus on that first, get that all dialed in and set up, and then go to Google Plus. Learn about how to link those things using our old friend, friendsplus.me. And hopefully this will make your social media a lot more robust and a lot more powerful for you, and just really get focused on who are your people and what are they talking about and how are they talking about it. What are the hashtags they're using? If you can do that, you're going to end up connecting with people who are like you, and that's when this business gets really fun. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for your time. We'll see you in the group. Hey guys, really quickly, I forgot to show you something. I promised you that I would show you how to organize people into easy groups to track, into an easy group to track once you had connected with them. So everything I said before is designed to help you connect with people. Getting them to be your friend on Facebook is important. One of the things you can do, you can also search. You can search for hashtags. interests. I mean, you can connect on music. Earlier I connected with somebody on music, and it turns out that, somebody in one of my challenge groups, now we have an additional connection based on some music that we both like. So lots of different ways to use the social graph here to connect with people who have similar interests. Again, it's all about the similar interests. When you do, you send them a friend request if you're not already friends. Now, I want you to be a little bit careful with sending friend requests, okay? Don't just haphazardly send out a ton of friend requests. Facebook will do what's called put you in Facebook jail, all right? That's bad. What that means is you cannot send new friend requests for sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 30 days. Depends on how many friend requests you have. So you don't want to have a lot of outstanding friend requests that have not been responded to, okay? So, you kind of want to get in here and make sure that, you don't have a lot of friend requests. These are requests coming to me, but I tend not to have this problem because as a kind of high-profile coach, I guess, I have a lot of people requesting my friendship, and I don't accept friend requests from coaches who are not on my team because I'll fill up my Facebook. There's a 5,000 user cap, and I don't want to fill up my Facebook, so I just let people follow me, and we do it that way. But here's what we do. Once we're friends with people, we go in here. And you can create a list. And creating a list is really simple. You basically go in here, you name your list, and then you say which of your friends you'd like to add to your list. So I have a list, it's called Coach Prospects, because these are my coach prospects. So when I start talking to somebody, I have a whiteboard that I use, that I add their name to the whiteboard right away. But I also, if I'm friends with them on Facebook, I make sure and add them to this list that I have. And what this does is it creates a news feed for me of all of my prospects. So these are the people that I think are coach prospects right now and what's going on with them in their life, right? So what I can do? I can just go in here and like these things, comment on them, I can share Susie's actually already a coach, so I should probably take her off of the list, but, that's kind of one of the things that happens. But these people are all my coach prospects, or maybe they're just recent coaches, which is good to keep an eye on those folks as well. And then, you're just kind of going through and connecting with people, right? So I talked about in the video, this really shouldn't take you much longer than, 20, 30 minutes a day. This is pretty quick to buzz through here and be like, has anybody done anything cool? Yeah, Jordan's, going to Portland. All right, so great. Another thing I'll do is go to the See All category here. And what I have here is a visual list of my prospects, right? And this is actually what happened earlier is I noticed that Brooke, I hadn't talked to her for a couple days. I clicked on her to go see what was going on, and she had been to a concert of an artist that I really love. And all of a sudden, we now have this additional connection about something else that we wouldn't have known otherwise unless I was in here just doing my daily do, going through my prospect list, and then didn't see her name down here, didn't see her name down here in the regular newsfeed portion of it. So I clicked here and said, okay, who's not showing up? Okay, who haven't I talked to? Boom, I haven't talked to her. Go in, check in, what's going on, and all of a sudden you find something else that you connect on. That's how you become friends with people, guys. Okay, that's how you do it. So that is really what I wanted to show you guys as far as getting, sorry boys, as far as getting organized and the ability to use Facebook to organize people into these groups. So again, use the social networks to connect with people. When you can find them on Facebook as well though, and you can friend request them, a lot of times that friend request is a lot easier to get accepted if you're already following each other on Instagram. And they've been following you on Instagram for a while, which is not threatening at all, right? Because, you control the information and whatnot. If they like what they see on Instagram, they're far more likely to say yes to a friend request on Facebook, and then you can pop them into this list, which again is under Friends, and create lists. Super easy, little way to organize everybody. There's a lot of other lists here too. These are just automatically generated by Facebook. These are people who live within 10 miles of my house. Who are these people? These are other lists that I've created kind of over the years or whatever. So there you go. That's how you use lists. I am now done with today's training. All right, guys, so that's our little social media training. As I said, this is not a comprehensive detail of everything I do in social media. I also run a blog. I'm on some other social networks like Pinterest that I didn't cover today. But I wanted to give you guys some concrete stuff to go do. So if you did what I suggested in the beginning of this video, which is that you did it as I did it, right? Sort of follow the bouncing ball, then you've already done your work for today. Okay, that's enough. You need to move on and go do something else or go be connecting with those individual people. All right, come back tomorrow and do the same thing. If you didn't do what I did and follow the bouncing ball, do that. Okay, either today if you have time or tomorrow, go back and go through the training and watch me do everything that I did in order to set it all up. And again, stay focused on who your core customers are. I'm using the example of a surfer in my video because that's what I am. I talk about cycling too because that's what I do. Okay, I'm a gardener. You may be, an underwater basket weaver, or maybe you're interested in skydiving. Okay, I wouldn't go after people who are interested in skydiving because I know nothing about it. I was actually at a party on Sunday, and all these guys were skydivers, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know, I'm just totally out of place. I'll ask questions, and try and connect with them, but they weren't people where I was like, these are my people, right? As if it would have been if I had been at a party and everybody was a surfer and we could all kind of connect on that level. So stay focused on who your core people are. Figure out what those hashtags are that those people use. Use those hashtags, follow them back, do all the stuff that I talked about in the video. You're gonna have some success with social media if you keep focused on form and being able to connect with people. It's not just about following people, it's about following up with people and connecting with them. All right, guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow.